Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where I loaded in the game, and we're in this tumble. I don't know, KSP2 does weird things. We're going to make our way around to the maneuver node here. I'm going to turn RCS on to stop this tumble a little bit more quickly. We're definitely slowing it. I think that's pretty clear. Yes, indeed. So this burn is going to be in 33 minutes, but this timing isn't actually going down, is it? Uh-huh. We don't have any of this data. Okay. It's a little broken. Cool. Let's try loading it up again. So this is a save that I made after last episode. Let's see what that's got. Are we tumbling again? A. And B. Okay, we are indeed tumbling again. Lost control due to I didn't get a chance to read all of that. And we don't have our trajectory. Okay, let's try going back to the tracking station. It thinks that we're landed on the moon. What? Okay, but this actually went down a little bit. Interesting. Very, very interesting. It also thinks that we don't have any DV in this tank. I don't know what KSP2 is doing right now. Let's see if we get this under control. Let's just go around to the maneuver node here. And let's add a little bit of thrust and see if that causes it to update. So let's go to the maneuver node. I'm going to turn our RCS off now. I don't think it's necessary. Okay. So let's just go here really quickly and do a small burn. I'm hoping that that updates it. No. No, it does not. Okay, so in that case, we should go back to the tracking station. So this is in mission elapsed time here. We should warp forward some amount of time. And this should probably be, like, deorbited. This is the broken moonlander. We've got this debris here that should be untracked. Okay, if we pop back in here, we can see 3116, but this isn't ticking down. So we know we need to tick forward a while. Actually, we know we need to go until this is at the prograde marker. So we don't need to rely on this timer. Let's bring this around. Lowering time warp because we're approaching the moon. We're not actually approaching the moon. We are in orbit over the moon. Actually, no, we're not. Our periapsis is not over the moon. Throttle is locked. Yes. Apparently that is lowering our apoapsis. Okay, let's do something like this. Apparently it forgot that we were in orbit. We still don't have access to any of these numbers here. Okay. And it's fluctuating between camera modes. Sure. KSP2 definitely needs more time in the oven. That's very, very clear. Okay, so I have no idea where we are in our orbit right now. But what I do know is that we should be relatively safe here. So we're going to warp forward a little bit. Our current altitude is... Okay, sea level altitude. Our current altitude is around 7,700. We're going up right now, so that's good. Looks like this updated. It still hasn't realized we're in orbit. But we're just going to lock over to prograde here. Of course, we can't do that while in warp. And I'm hoping that we're going to be able to warp a little bit faster soon. We know that we need to burn prograde right around here, right? We know that. So we can definitely warp around. I sure wish that we had our trajectory on here, but the game thinks that we're landed. Oh my. Let's manually change this into Celestial mode. Okay. There we go. We're going to be in Celestial mode for a little while. So that should be reasonably fine. Now we should be able to warp on around. Cool. I'm going to interrupt our warp once we reach around here. That's going to be what we're going to aim for. Oh. The gimbal lock up here is definitely exciting. Okay. So we're going to bring this around, and we're going to head over to the prograde marker. We know we want to hit prograde very soon. Did we just lose control? Oh, we're on 9x time warp? But we're paused. Okay, there we go. Pausing it and unpausing it fixed it. Cool. This game's a little broken. There's no doubt about that. So we're just going to get into position here. And do we burn now? It's maybe slightly early. Let's warp a little bit further forward. And we'll commence that burn about now. We'll just get into position, pointing prograde. And there we go. Now, I have no idea what our trajectory is. Literally none. So this is going to be interesting. Really, really interesting. I don't know why we have a landed state here. We shouldn't. But whatever. Hopefully, once we exit the sphere of influence, it'll fix itself. I have no idea if we're at an escape velocity right now. Actually, we can see here. Okay. We are at an escape velocity now. Cool. So let's go ahead and warp on forward. Hopefully, when we change sphere of influences, it'll update. If not, this is going to be real interesting. We're going to have to manipulate based on our apoapsis periapsis information here, and it's not going to be tremendously efficient. But it is what it is. Okay. So we didn't get the information that we needed when we changed sphere of influence. We can see that we're apparently at periapsis right now. What? We're not at periapsis. If anything, this is apoapsis. So let's go ahead and go over to unpause. Okay, let's go ahead and go to retrograde. And let's see what happens if we burn here. Yeah, this looks about right. This is what I expect. So we're at apoapsis right now, despite what the game thinks. Cool. So we're bringing this on down. Excellent. 2,000 kilometers is our periapsis at this moment, assuming these numbers are correct. I don't know if they are. They may or may not be. 1,000 kilometers now. 600,000 meters. 300,000 meters. 200. 100. Okay. And let's just be a little bit more cautious here. I'm targeting, like, 30 kilometers. Okay. So, at this point, we should be on a re-entry trajectory. In theory. Hopefully. I would do a radial retrograde burn on our way in. That's going to be complicated. So I think we're just going to burn pure retrograde. And we're going to need to warp forward a ways here. Apparently we were burning while the game was paused. I'm confused about that, but whatever. So we're going to warp in about 3 hours here. We just hit apoapsis, which that makes sense. Okay, let's just slowly fall on in. We're going to gain a lot of orbital speed here. In theory, assuming these numbers are accurate, we should be coming back safely. In theory. Okay. I want to keep an eye on this situation. We are cutting down our time warp a little bit here. Okay. So soon enough here, we're going to want to bring this on down. In fact, sometime around now is probably when we'd want to do this. So let's just head on over to radial here. Or rather, let's head to retrograde. Okay. I'm going to stow our solar panels. Otherwise, they'll burn off as we re-enter, which will be relatively soon. And I actually want, I think, radial out here. Let's see. Yes, this is the direction we want. So we're going to burn radial out here for a little bit. Until such a time as our periapsis hits 50 kilometers, I think. And then we're going to go retrograde. Cool. And we'll just oscillate between radial out and retrograde here as we hit our target points. So this is going to be like 30 kilometers that we head to. We're at 50 right now, and we're definitely bringing down that apoapsis. That's good. We may need to just stay retrograde here. Let's see. We're at 99 kilometers right now, so in theory it's reasonably fine. Yeah, we'll just stay here for the moment. I'm going to move us up over this way, and we're going to do a partial radial retrograde burn. This is actually going up now. I want it to still be going down, so we're going to head closer to retrograde. Cool. Something along the lines of this. We're currently at 80 kilometers. And let's just hop over directly to retrograde at this point. We're about to hit atmosphere. I'm going to turn RCS off. Cool. I'm keeping an eye on how much fuel we have in these side tanks. I don't really want to jettison them whilst in the atmosphere. So, let's stop our burn here. And we could think about potentially dropping our parachutes down here. I don't know if our parachutes are strong enough to land this entire assembly. They probably are, if I had to guess. But let's bring this on down, and we're going to look to do some deceleration. Excellent. We can see that our orbital velocity is still increasing. I'm going to resume burning now. Down to about 20 kilometers. Actually, this is going to be good enough. Cool. So we are continuing to decelerate. And actually, with these being radially decoupled, it's probably okay to get rid of them. is my guess. I don't know that for a fact, but I would guess so. So at this point, we're just waiting for the periapsis to... Actually, the periapsis is getting further away. I will commence the burn now. I want to burn out this stage here. We still have a decent amount of liquid fuel and oxidizer left in it. So we'll go ahead and burn that out, and then we'll try to detach these. And actually, are we going to detach them? We may not attempt to detach them. We do need to slow down a little bit more, though, and burning off this fuel is reasonably fine. So that looks good. Okay, so we've got an impact trajectory here. That's not hugely unexpected. We're still like 37 kilometers up, so no big deal there. I'm going to continue burning here. I want to bleed off whatever speed we can as we enter the atmosphere. 35 kilometers up right now. Not seeing any heating effects, and our speed is relatively low. So things are looking okay. I'm guessing our thrust to weight isn't tremendous, but that's to be expected. Cool. We're about 30 kilometers up right now. And we're moving at about 1,300 meters per second. So this should be relatively safe for our chutes. I want to check in on our chutes here. Chute safety, safe. Slightly shocking on that one. Cool. So obviously we're burning right now, and what is our chute safety here? Actually, this is safe as well at this speed? Really? Okay. I guess our chutes are safe to deploy. Wild. Well, we should turn off our burn then, in that case. Actually, let's burn just this last little bit of fuel out of this tank. There we go. We should have fuel in this tank still, right? Or are we completely out of fuel now? We may be completely out of fuel. Yeah, I think we are. That's fine. That's completely fine. Our speed is quite low, and we're coming in under parachutes. So let's go ahead and extend our landing legs. We're not ditching our side tanks. And let's... Apparently we just unpaused the game. I'm not sure how accurate that is. Let's move this on down. We are still decelerating. Our chutes are, of course, not opened. We're coming down, like, right on these mountains, which is slightly awkward. Our chutes should open if it's like KSP-1 at 2 kilometers for the drogue chutes and 1 kilometer for this chute. We're definitely going to be coming down in these mountains, it looks like. Which I don't love coming down in mountains like this, but whatever. Okay. Looks like our drogues have deployed. And if we're too heavy, we can ditch some of this stuff, right? So there's our main deploying. We're going at about 11 meters per second. It's a little high. We'll decelerate a little bit more as we get closer, but not much. Okay. Well, we'll see how much we survive this. It's only 10 meters per second, right? And we should change our camera mode to, like, capture is probably not exactly what we want. Body is what we want, I think. Cool. So down we come. We're about 1 kilometer above the surface right now. Actually, that's sea level. This is ground altitude. There we go. This is going to be a, probably a pretty steep surface. You don't need to be paused. Unpause. There you go. Actually, it might not be that steep of a surface. We'll see. It's going to be a little steep, looks like. And we definitely landed a little bit fast. Oh my. Camera just rolls with it and goes underground in this mode. Okay. Well, we lost a landing leg, and that causes us to tip over like this. But these legs are very springy in KSP2, aren't they? But we will stabilize here. And we're safe, approximately. We're approximately safe. Just turning off SAS. Okay. We made it. Oh, that was a lot of issues. But we made it. So we want to recover this vessel. I canceled that. We want to recover this vessel. So vessel launched. We entered the sphere of influence. We landed. We entered Kerbin's sphere of influence. We landed a bunch of times. Yeah, that's about right. So we're going to go back to the... actually, let's just go back to the Space Center here. And let's talk about KSP2. So I think that KSP2 is a really interesting foundation, right? I think they have something here, but it's really unpolished. It's not ready. It's really, really not ready. That's very clear by all of the issues that we ran into. The fact that we didn't come back with any sort of trajectory prediction and we had to estimate entirely based on apoapsis and periapsis, yikes. The decoupler bug, yikes. The randomly exploding after coming out of time warp bug, yikes. There's a lot of issues, no doubt about that. Performance needs to be ironed out. There's a lot of bugs. I think that they released into early access too early, is what I think happened here. It's too early of access. There's a good foundation for a game here, and I think given time, it'll get there, assuming that the executives don't decide that it costs too much or whatever, but I think that given enough time, it will get there. And I think that this will surpass KSP1. It's not there yet. It's definitely not there yet. So if you have not purchased KSP2, my current recommendation is wait. Let them iron out the bugs, let them get more modes other than Sandbox, and let them iron out the performance, and then think about picking it up. At this moment, I would not recommend getting KSP2 until those things happen. I think that this game will get there, and it will be absolutely amazing. It's not there yet. That's my official consensus right now. I do think that while we could continue with this series and go land on other bodies, for now, I think we're far better served to just wait and come back to this one a little later on. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this mini-series here. We're probably going to play like some Crusader Kings or something. And every time that they release a major KSP2 patch, we'll check back in and see what they've done and how the changes feel. I think that's going to be the best way forward. And we may well play another series of KSP1 while we wait. We'll see. That's not going to be happening immediately, but potentially in the future. For now, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we are going to swap over perhaps to some Crusader Kings. It's been a little bit, and like I said, we're going to check back in with this with a mini-series of, I don't know, 10, 15 episodes every time that they do a major patch, until we get to the point where I feel like the game is ready for a big series. That's the way that this is going to go. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Kentuin, James, Shadow Wolf, and Lohan80, Kentogan, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Unisil, Rogue Corvid, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.